Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my name is Harvey and welcome to another segment of In Conversation with Harvey. Joining me in studio today is one of my dearest friends. Her name is Ayanda Mukandatama, but we just call her Yandi. And we're going to be dissecting a topic that's very near and dear to both of us because we've both experienced what we're going to be talking about. And today's conversation revolves around friendship breakups. What do you do when they happen? How do you deal with them? Have you ever had a friendship breakup? And all those questions. Please feel free to share your thoughts with us in any comment section made available, and we'd love to hear what you think about the conversation. Hi, Yandi.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
I know it was
I know it was short notice,
Yeah.
but you came through for me as always. So the topic today, and when I asked you to, just give to me a topic that you were comfortable with, you mentioned friendship breakups.
Yeah.
We've spoken about this at length
Absolutely,
before,
we
so I
have.
knew that this is a conversation that needed to be had.
Talk about it, yeah.
There's a lot. Have you ever had a friendship breakup?
Yeah, I've had when I was younger, you
Yeah.
break up, but the ones that I have when I was an adult were probably more painful because
Yeah.
you've been with these people and there's a lot of trust in there.
Right.
And I feel like everyone when talking about breakups, they always talk about romantic breakups,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
friendship breakups, which I think they kind of hurt more in my opinion because
Yeah.
you've been with this person, they've opened up to you, you've opened up to them. It's a lot of bond there, so yeah.
Right. I entirely understand. I think I've had a few friendship breakups myself in my adult life, believe it
Yeah.
or not, and it wasn't necessarily the best to deal with. I think I felt more betrayed than I would have had it been someone I was in a romantic relationship
Absolutely.
with, because this
Yeah.
person, like you said, it's someone that you trust, someone that you let into your world a bit more, and someone that you've probably shared so much of yourself
much,
more than you would
so
someone that you're in a
much, yeah.
relationship with, because they see everything from
Everything.
start to finish.
And
So
they can hurt you more because they know a lot about you.
they know a lot more
Yeah.
secrets.
Yeah.
Not that I have any. Girl, don't start. But then what I need to understand as well is your most recent friendship breakup. What happened there?
So my most recent friendship breakup was with the girl I met in high school.
Yeah.
What happened there was a lot of back talk that I didn't know about, that I only found out
Behind your back.
behind my back.
Right.
And this was the person that I was calling my friend. I would invite them to my house, and I never usually invite people to my close to my family. I was very, very close to them, and I found out details about my childhood and my life from another person, and I knew that was the only
Definitely
person that
they
I've
had
ever,
been
especially in
having the
Ireland, I've
conversation.
not been walking around telling everybody about how
Yeah.
I grew up. And there was a lot of back chat. There was a lot of I've only realized now there was a lot of down talk on my side as well, because
Right.
I've only realized this person was always trying to bring me down.
Okay.
And always just talking negatively about me. Let's say I do something really great, they'll always downplay it.
Right.
But I always kind of be like, it's fine, that's who, that's just they are. But if someone is your friend, they're supposed to support you, they're supposed to be there for you. Not always perfect, but I'm just saying, if somebody's really your friend, they're not supposed to be negatively talking to you, to your face.
Yeah.
They gave me so much body image, issues.
And that's where
Heavy stuff
my.
that they knew I was insecure about. They were like, no, don't wear that dress because it shows your legs and
Right.
stuff like that, because they knew I didn't like my legs. Just
Okay.
really, really deep stuff that was so hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
But because I really loved them so much and supported them, I was just not bringing it up.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I want to understand as well is because a friendship is about two or more people,
Yeah.
and there's always two sides to any coin. So is there anything in that situation that you felt that you did to contribute to the breakup of the friendship?
Yeah, I think I never brought stuff up.
So you never spoke about
Yeah, I
things?
never spoke about anything up. I was just this is my friend, and I always supported them. And if
Right.
whenever she had a problem with me, she would always come and talk to me about it. I never did that. To them, I
Right.
was always looking at them through rose-colored glasses, in
They
my
could do no
head.
wrong
Yeah,
in
they
your
could do
eyes.
no wrong.
Yeah.
I would fight for this person. I would always support them, but for them, they're not giving the same energy.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of I was holding them on a pedestal in a way.
Oh, I know. I've
Yeah.
had issues like that. I think when you talk about friendships, particularly in your 20-somethings and as you get older, it becomes a bit more difficult to make these types of bonds and connections.
Yeah.
It's different from when we were in high school or, even primary school.
Exactly.
You could make friends like that and everything would be fine, and you could lose friends like that and you'll be fine as well. But at this stage, now you're thinking, okay, I've let this person into my world. They've seen so much of who I am, and I've seen so much of who they are, and we've been friends for years. So why are we breaking up now? Is it something that we can't communicate or talk about? Could you not have spoken about this issue and maybe come to a resolve with your friend? Your ex-friend.
At the end, I did talk about it with them, but there was no progression there. Like, I tried to be like, oh, don't you see, like, sometimes when you do this, it's wrong.
It's wrong.
I put it on a group chat, like, with my other friends. And I made it like a scenario. No, I didn't mention them. I put it in a scenario. I was like, if a friend is doing this and that, is that okay? And the group chat went crazy. They're like, oh my gosh, like, you would never accept that. Like, that is so bad and stuff like that. Then I realized, like, oh my gosh, like, I've been accepting a lot. And when I brought them to them, because I did not want to lose them as a friend, so I brought to them first. I didn't ghost.
Right, so you did have the conversation to say, okay, there's something wrong with us.
And she refused. She's like, nothing is wrong with that. Like,
so she couldn't see anything. Oh.
So I had to leave. Wow. Yeah, it was painful, but I just had to be like, you know what? I've tried to talk to you about it. I've tried to have a conversation, but you still don't understand where I'm coming from. So I just kind of have to leave. Obviously, was I perfect in that friendship? No, I wasn't. But one thing I can say for sure, if I've ever done it wrong, I would always come forward and say sorry.
To it?
Yeah.
Accountability?
She would never say sorry to me,
Oh, I know. I've been in a situation like that where I think it also leaves you in a position where it's difficult to build that trust with anyone else, or to make it, like, that's why I said that it's harder to now make new friends as you grow older, because there's a dynamic there. You've been hurt before, you've experienced things that you don't even wish on your worst enemy. And so now, meeting new people, you never know their motives, you never know their intentions. So it kind of like puts you back to where you're hesitant of making friendships. I am entirely like that as well. I had a friend, when I came to Ireland in 2017, that was my first friend. And she essentially introduced me to all these different friend groups, and that's how I started meeting people and, all of that. But it became a situation where, much like yourself, I was the one who was constantly initiating things. Oh, let's do this, let's go there, right? Or it was a case where if she had anything that she needed my support in, I'd be that person to always be there, right? So when she launches her business, I'm there. When she does certain things, I'm there. I'm assisting, I'm helping. There's not just the financial cost, but the emotional cost and all these different things that are happening. And you're showing up and you're saying, this is my friend. And if I had a friend like me, what would I want from me? You know what I mean? That's how I approached our relationship. But it hurt me the most where I had this one pivotal moment in my life where I needed her there, present, right? And I told her in advance that, hey, this is happening in my life. I need you to come and share this very special moment with me. And the response I got was very distasteful. It was hurtful. It was like almost dismissive of, oh, that doesn't matter. That's of no concern,
Yeah.
And so it put me in a position where I had to reevaluate the dynamic of our relationship. Ask myself questions like, wait, why am I actually here? Why am I even friends with you? What am I getting? Not that we get into friendships to benefit anything, but we get into friendships to mutually learn from each other. I think our friendship, we've gone through a bit of things that we talk about everything. Like sometimes we go on the phone for like 6 more hours at a time.
I feel like you definitely benefit from friendships.
Yeah, you do, right? Yeah. We do. Like I can say in our situations, we do, because we do teach each other, we do correct each other. And it's not that type of friendship where we're saying, oh, you're always right. Like, you know me, I call you out. I'm like, girl, you need to call that man. You need
You're being toxic.
You're being toxic right now. You need to fix that issue. You need someone like that. But then with her, it was never the case. I could never talk about those type of things with her. I think it was mostly about her and her life and what's going on in her space. Never was there a moment where she stopped to ask, hey, wait, how are you? I became almost like an accessory, which was very stereotypical, but then I had to take a step back and say, okay, I need better friends. How am I going to find them? I'm going to set boundaries, which then brings me to the next point. How have you managed to apply boundaries to your current friendships now so that things go differently compared to the previous time?
How have I managed? I've always gone inside, because there's a reason why I attract people like that, because that's not the very first friend that I've used.
Oh, there's been more before that. Okay.
So I had to do some self-reflection, like, why do I always attract people that...
Is there something that you're allowing?
I always feel like, oh, I've been used a bit. That's because I realized that I'm a people pleaser.
Oh.
And that comes from being a child. Like when you always praise when you do something, you're not just praise because you're just like a human being, you're like a child.
It's always like after you do something.
After you do something. Right. So with friends, I was kind of applying that same method and just being like people pleasing, like always, kind of like buying the friendship in a way. But like maybe, I'll get you this, or I'll do you this, and then that type of thing. So you have friends that they can see that, so
and
you like doing stuff for people, and you like doing that, and then they'll take advantage of you.
Right.
So I had to go in, because that was also kind of like overlapping into my relationships. I felt like I was always people pleasing, and whenever I'm wronged, I'm just like, no, it's fine. You know, but and now I'm like, no, you have boundaries. I'm not doing the people pleasing anymore. If you're my friend, we have to have a healthy relationship. Any type of relationship, it has to be healthy.
Right.
No one should be taking.
Constantly
It has to be a balance. Like somebody takes sometimes. If you're low, yes, I'll be there for you. If I'm low, yes, you'll be there for me. But let's not like, I'm always the one showing up. I'm always the one planning your birthdays. I'm always, when my birthday comes, I know I take birthdays very seriously.
Very seriously, I know. We've experienced it.
When my birthday comes along, you pretend like you didn't even know it's my birthday. I'm like, what? Yeah, just a balance. I have friends now like you and Judy and all people that I feel like when I'm in a room, they're delighted to have me there.
Right.
I never felt like that before. Like just going into a room, I feel like people feel like I'm better than them. So they have this thing of like, I end the thing.
Already there's a wall.
Yeah, I'm like, I never act like I'm better than everyone. Where are you getting them from? So now I'm with people that are confident with themselves. And if you have confident friends, you're all confident. When you show up at a place, you're all like, yeah, we are the...
We are, because we are
I
this.
can't say that word,
and more.
Yeah, because when we go out now with our friend group, no one feels like out of place. We all feel like so now I have healthier, but that only because I had healthier relationship with myself. So now I can attract those type of people in my life.
I like the perspective that you use, the fact that you can only, I think you almost always attract what you are. Even if you are not aware of it. So maybe going back into yourself, like you said, and reevaluating. But at what point, because I've had an instance like that as well, where even after I've done the work to look at myself internally to fix all these different things, obviously I'm never going to get to a point where I'm the perfect human being.
No one does.
In my friendships, I know I've made mistakes, and I've tried as much as possible to be accountable for where I fail, where I come, where I fall short, and where perhaps there's something that I do and I'm not aware that this has affected you in the wrong way. True. You know what I mean? But then to also say, when do we draw the line? When do we say, okay, it's not about me working on myself, because I've done the work. But some people are just very, not nice people. So at what point do you say, it's not about me anymore, because I know I've done all of this.
The work.
Now can we draw those boundaries?
Yeah.
When did you do that?
You have to know the difference between you having to go to do your self-work and people just projecting on you.
Right.
Because sometimes...
So it's a certain level of self-awareness that's required there. Okay.
So you have to know the difference now, because some people, just because you've healed and you feel like you have healthy relationships, does not mean you're not going to attract bad friends.
It's not about you attracting. I'd say, you never know. You can have, you never know.
Bad friends. But you have to know who to allow, and also who to call your friends. Because not everyone is your friend.
I have a story for you.
Because people, now I'm only realizing the people that I was calling my friends, to them I was not a friend.
They did not view you like that.
So that's why I was giving so much and they were giving a little bit.
Very little, because they did not
know your level in everyone's life.
Oh, yeah.
Some people you're just like, hi. Some people you're like, okay, we're close friends. But you have to know the difference, because now you're over,
I entirely agree with that point. Yeah. You know why? I think it was Bishop T.D. Jakes at some point. He just mentioned in passing in one of the sermons. I'm not religious, by the way, but it was just like a moment where I learned something. Yeah. He said there's a difference between a friend and an acquaintance, and you need to be able to treat one or the other accordingly, because like you said, maybe we were overextending to acquaintances, and in turn, the after effect of that is we underperform and underdeliver to our actual friends. That's because you're trying to keep up with this many people. Have you been invited to places? Are you doing things with them? And all those things. Have you ever had that type of friendship where, well, not friendship, but have you ever had a situation with someone where even after all the giving that you've done and after all the extending that you've done for them, and they're still perhaps not doing the same for you, the question comes now, are you entering into these friendships or these situations for the giving and taking, or are you entering into that situation because there's something in you that always feels compelled to give regardless of whether anything comes back to you?
Yeah, there's also an aspect of that. I've also realized, and it's something that I've accepted, I'm always probably going to be the one that's going to give more.
That's giving a lot more, but that's just who you are.
That's just who I am.
Right.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's only a bad thing if now you're being used for that.
The lines have been blurred.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I've all realized in most friendships, probably I'll be the one
who's doing a lot of giving.
Because not everyone shows emotion in the same way. I show my love by praising people,
right,
hyping you up, and
showing up.
I'll be the friend with you bringing a cake to your office. I know, now I realize but I also realize maybe that's what I want. Maybe that's why I do that.
That's why you give it, because that's what you expect.
That's my way of receiving love anyway. From friends.
Which brings me to my next point now, and also my next question. In a romantic relationship, in a romantic sense, we often talk about love languages and how people want to be loved and how they were taught love and all these different aspects, right? However, in friendships, we very rarely talk about how the other person wants to experience love or how they know love to be. And so I think this is why a lot of the situations that end up becoming friendship breakups is because people are not meeting each other's, not necessarily expectations, but basic friendship needs that they require. There's a mismatch that's happening there because perhaps there's a lack of communication as to what that is. To the point that you made earlier, some people, for instance, their love language is it's gifting, right? So someone might feel like, okay, I'm a good friend because I bought you something. To them, that's how they're choosing to express it. They think, oh, I'm the best friend in the world. But then to you, gifts may not be your love language. You might be words of affirmation, and there's a mismatch that's happening, and there's not enough communication that's happening there. Do you think that probably might have been the case in some of the instances with your friendship breakups?
Yes, I feel like that definitely have been the case, but also I just want to, maybe I'm going off topic there, but we don't value friendships as much as to go to learn about love languages in friendships.
Which is quite odd because we spend more time.
Love languages in romantic relations. So to actually have a friend to say, how do you want to be loved? I think that's very rare.
But then it would make, do you get what I'm saying? It would make more sense because your friends, like I said, a friendship breakup is so drastic. Like it's sometimes painful. More painful than a romantic one, right? Because this person sees a lot of elements to your life that this other person doesn't see. Perhaps your partner has never seen that side of you, but your friends, we as your friends...
They've probably been there longer than your partner.
Exactly. 20 plus years, 10 years, 5 years of a friendship.
But so the moment that man comes for 1 month, you're dropping all your friends.
Gone. Yeah. But then back to the point, right? Back to the point, what I'm saying is if we are going to invest as much effort and time into figuring out our romantic relationship and saying to our partner, how do you want to be loved? Why aren't we able to carry the same thing into the friendship dynamic? Because this is someone that's been with you for years, seen you at your best and your worst, and has stuck by you probably through most of it. And yes, you do have your ups and downs, it's normal, but you still haven't cancelled each other, you're still fine. So why aren't we making the same level of effort with that person as well?
Because we don't see them to require that much effort. Like, we feel like friends are always going to be there. Friends need a little bit more effort. I feel like, especially with girl friendships, they will put so much effort in romantic relationship, but not in friendships.
Not in friendships.
It's only now that I've seen, like, okay, girls taking themselves on dates, like girly dates.
It's starting now,
It's starting
isn't it?
now. People are starting to realize, like, hey, maybe your girlfriend could actually be your soulmate, not like your boyfriend.
But I think with guys, it's been the opposite, actually. With guys
value bromance.
You know, they've been together.
Have you ever seen how happy they are around their guys?
The moment they go home, it's like... You know what I mean?
I think with guys, they've always known that, no, friendships are very important. And I think as girls, we need to learn that as well. Like, hey, my friend deserves
just as much attention.
Maybe not as much.
I think just as much.
Just as much.
Just
okay.
as much.
Maybe just a little bit closer.
Because it's
hey,
it's a relationship. It's not
you
bound by anything, right? It's different from family. Family, you're bound by blood, and ultimately this connection of what family is and for the family unit and all of that, right? So it's easier to have friendships with your cousins and your brothers and your sisters because these are people that are related to you. A friend is not someone who's bound to you by anything. Them being there, it's a choice. So if you don't water that grass, what do you think is going to happen? You know what I mean? So if you just neglect it and say, oh, they're always going to be there. No, the grass is always greener where you water it. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you, yeah. I definitely have learned that as well. Like nature of friendships.
Right.
Because when you neglect that, it shows in a lot of things. Your friends feel it as well. Like, okay, you're neglecting me. But then when you want something, that's when you're picking up the phone and calling.
But then, in all fairness as well, I think perhaps we should discuss the conversation around, because we're all in our 20-somethings currently, and we are very busy people. You're in the beauty aesthetic industry. It's hectic. Like, I've seen your schedules. It's insane. I'm in finance. It's just as insane. So obviously, we're not always going to be there, and sometimes we're exhausted. Yeah, and we're exhausted. We can't always meet up. We can't always do things. But also, I'm a believer in you make time for what you value, no matter how busy you get, because we've had those 6-hour phone calls after the 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's true.
You were in wherever you were.
We're both adults. I know that you're busy. I know you know I'm busy. But a little text like, hi, how are you? How are you feeling?
Goes a long way.
Go a long way. I don't have to see you and actually sit down and eat.
Exactly.
But just to feel like, oh, somebody thought of me.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Like, someone's thinking of me, missing me, and all of that.
Be proper, like, I'm coming to your office with flowers. No, like, just a text.
But that's how you expect it to be
but
now,
I definitely
right?
expect some flowers. Princess syndrome, you know.
Oh my God, tell me about it. The princess syndrome is real, y'all. Like, we've seen it. But in conclusion, I'd say, because I can see the DOP's back again, but to conclude the conversation, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently in that friendship breakup? And if there's ever to be a future friendship breakup, is there anything that you would say you would handle this differently?
I would be more open about how I'm feeling, because whenever I'm going through something, I just ghost friends.
Right.
So maybe that could have that is one of the reasons why I broke up as well, because whenever I'm going through something, I just shut down the whole world.
And also, they probably would have never had a way to know
that I'm going through something, so they think I'm just ghosting them, out of spite.
And that's how most of it ended.
I'll be more vulnerable, definitely. I'll be more open about what I'm feeling, and also put a little bit more effort as well.
I'd say you're doing well on that part. Like, you call and you talk about things, and we talk about it a lot. So you're doing well.
It's a very hard thing for me to be vulnerable. So I'm learning that. I think I'm better now. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. We shall talk. We shall talk about that part soon.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was In Conversation with Harvey, where today's topic revolved around friendship breakups. What do you do when you go through a friendship breakup? Some of the things that lead to a friendship breakup, and ultimately some of our own personal experiences and what we've learned from our past friendship breakups. Do join me same time, same place, next episode. Bye.